Hello, I'm going to be doing something a little differently here. Somebody in the Monster Train Discord had mentioned that they were struggling, and actually on a specific run they were asking for advice on how they could have played it differently. They had lost, and I wanted to take a crack at it. So I decided to make this video. I generated a challenge from that seed and decided to do the same run. Unfortunately, I did do commentary during the video. Unfortunately, I lost it. I didn't have the mic on or something. So I'm going to just do some commentary. The first choice of artifact was Advanced Prototype, or I forget the name, but you heal the Pyre when you use a Consume card. Starting with only one Consume card, I didn't really find that appealing, and I feel like I'm hoping to just not take Pyre damage. And with the starting champion, I think both options were valid. I decided I wanted to try out the Gorger since I haven't done it in a while. So if you're just trying to win, I always like to set up on top with whatever unit needs the most time to build up. And the champion here wants to gorge as much as possible, so I set it up on top. And the train stewards are great on these first couple fights, just to deal with almost everything without even needing the champion. And I'm using hidden passages to overstack the floor, and that's the thing a lot of people miss, is the ability to do that. So don't have any additional morsel generation, so I decided to pick up the packed morsels here. Since they're better morsels, we want life steal or damage shields to keep the champion alive. And Horde and Break is a great way to deal with armored units. The champion only attacks one front unit generally, so do need a way to deal with the back. We have the Mind Collapses, which is why I go over here. I want to... Adding a magic power, the Mind Collapse means you can generate Ember for free, usually, when you draw it, and it kills enemies, which is good. And Hidden Passage, idea there is... It's nice for overstacking the train stores, as we saw, but I eventually want to pick up a unit to support my Penumbra against the boss. Before the boss, we want that space for morsels, but it could be in the middle floor in the meantime, and then could help finish off the boss. So I put that morsel in the middle there just to grab the collector. It's often worth taking Pyre damage to get a collector, especially early. And I see that I can't really get that backliner, unfortunately, because the trial gave armor, but the train steward already weakened the boss enough to finish it off. And Space Prism is almost always a good pick, and especially when we want to gorge as many morsels as possible. And here I was debating, the imps unfortunately have the problem in that their effect is best on the floor they're played, so ascending them doesn't really help. And here I'm debating, I considered taking the Morsel Maker, but Morsel Master is way better, and Alpha Fiend is that unit I was talking about that is great for dealing with the boss as a support. So I grabbed the Morsel Master there anyway. And then here, Spike Driver Colony is a lot of fun, but the problem is it takes a lot of upgrade. They're best with upgrades, and I'm already needing to... I have upgrade debt, so I need to upgrade the Alpha Fiend. I want to upgrade a couple more spells, and I don't think really they're needed, and they don't really have a role. So with the Advanced Prototype, I have generally every turn I'll have a on-command tank for the Alpha Fiend, which means the Alpha Fiend can scale. And then whenever I feel like he's about to die or he is done scaling, I can use a hidden passage to bring him up to the Penumbra. I don't want to bring him up before, because then I can't give the Penumbra morsels. It's working out pretty well. And with the Morsel Master, I actually, and the Space Prism, I actually have 2 spaces free in the top row, which is kind of an awkward number because that means I can place 2 morsels down with the Morsel Master, but then, so one of those spaces is not helping. So I grab Shroud Spike there, just if there's a good morsel. It's often better than playing other spells. So I'm doing the math here, and this is where I figure out, oh, I'd want 3 free space for to place 4 morsels in the top row. That's why I take capacity. I do have a lot of cards I want to remove, but I'm also looking for multi-strike on the Alpha Fiend. And I just give some generic buffs, survivability to the Morsel Master. Don't find multi-strike. But then I think about it, and I remove the torches. I really don't need them at this point, and I just give some buffs to Train Steward, since they're pretty good still. Normally, if I didn't have advanced prototype, I'd be probably cutting them, but they're great as a tank for the Alpha Fiend. So I don't take the trial there. Those absolvers are really annoying, and we have a lot of spells that can deal with them. Unfortunately, we don't draw it on the first turn, so I use a hidden passage to kill one. I'm playing Train Steward there just so I draw my other cards, really. And I'm life-stealing on the top row, so there's no reason to attack those guys. Unless I could kill them both. Already doing a ton of damage to the boss. So I checked there to see if I was going to draw another hidden passage. And I wasn't sure that I was, but I accidentally used it on the wrong guy. But it doesn't matter because he was almost dead. So Feast. I pick up Feast here under the idea I do have a lot of morsel cards. Doesn't really work out. So I need some more spell upgrades. Magic power I have is great on Vent. Basically I'm trying to get as many cards that are free to cast and can generate Ember. The idea is I could use Shroud Spike and do other stuff, or I could eventually, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about Ember Drain cards. There's a few in Umbra that are useful for the main champion. So I send the morsel there, just wasn't sure if I was going to be able to eat it with another unit to good effect. I send another unit there because he was going to get killed by my backliner. And here I play a little differently than some of the other rooms. You notice normally I've been playing on the second floor, but this time because we're up against the stealth boss, I wanted to save as many units as I could for the stealth boss to eat up the charges of stealth. And I thought about it after. I probably should have just kept the Alpha Fiend on that level, but it worked out. And here's Furnace Tap. That's one of those Ember Drain cards I was talking about. The champion is going to be getting massive attack values, so having Furnace Tap is really, really good. But I was just checking to make sure I'd be able to function still after playing Furnace Tap. And I've been kind of doing spell upgrades in preparation already for it. And I find multi-strike on the champ, so I'm pretty much done with upgrades now. Because of that, I decided to give him health there so that I don't have to go back to the unit upgrade shop unless I'm already going that way. And he'll stay alive longer. So the train stewards are becoming less effective tanks, and so I want to just delay using a hidden passage on Alpha Fiend as long as possible so that I can feed more morsels. Torch there so I can kill the enemy. Prison retrieval I never really want to use, but so I just play it as soon as I see it so I don't draw it again. Kill the top liner there so I don't use up... Oh, I thought I had a lifesteal stack, but I didn't. So that 25 health upgrade coming in handy for the Alpha Fiend, he would have been dead. So I noticed that I am going to draw a hidden passage, so I have one more turn to play morsels. And with the damage shields, I'm confident that I can kill the boss, and he doesn't even take any damage. Another Furnace Tap. But at this point, it's kind of excessive. Card draw. I was feeling the lack of card draw in a lot of the earlier turns. Can't afford any artifacts, but I do want to cut some cards. I consider cutting the Prism Retrieval since I don't like it, but I decided to Shade Splitter instead because I have a ton and going to be Ember drained. The trample here is really unnecessary because we have a lot of ways to deal with the backline, and just getting more attack and health is better. I don't take the trial because I don't feel like we need it, and it just could lead to a good run going wrong. Horn Break really coming in handy there. So Alpha Fiend staying alive. Decided to hidden passage there, since I was not guaranteed to draw it. And what the heck? Get the other guy in there too. Okay, so here I look back and realize I haven't really used Feast much, so the second one probably isn't a good idea. So I was already struggling to cut things, so I decided not to go to remove cards. And I just see what artifacts there are. Obviously spell upgrades don't help. Lifesteal though is good. Just throw some generic upgrades on the train stewards so they do stuff before they die. Fortunately, that guy is just going to get through, but we have plenty of fire health. Okay, so I have 5 Ember. So I'd make the decision here, even though it's only giving me more Ember, I can just super buff my guy with a ridiculous amount of Shroud Spikes. So it doesn't give me any lifesteal or damage shields, but my number, I'm now attacking for 500. And my health is up there too. Start hoping for some lifesteal. And now my Alpha Fiend's gonna die, but I decide it's worth the sacrifice. His role was to do a lot of damage, and I'm already doing that. So now I just need somehow to stay alive. But since my damage number is so high, I don't need to stay alive for long. And I send the tank there since he doesn't do any damage. Give me access to that Gilded Wing. Fortunately, because of Ember Drain, I can't do anything else productive. But it's a kill. It's a little messy. It's not perfect for sure. Low scoring, but I succeeded, and I hope that I don't know how close it was to what you were doing. I hope it helps. I didn't look at the run summary of the run where you struggled, so I just kind of made my own decisions, mainly relying on the Penumbra. Some backup support from Alpha Fiend, and then just feeding the Penumbra as much as possible, and using the X-Cost cards to deal with the back lines, and it works really well. Thank you for watching. Please consider liking the video if you enjoyed it. Have a good